everyone. Good evening and welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so pleased you have found us here in the back room on this Sunday. It has been kind of a chaotic day for all involved, but we would not miss this marvelous event. And we are so glad that so many of you have found us here tonight. There are more than 80 people here, and that is absolutely lovely. It is a testament to all of your joy in reading and these marvelous authors that we have here tonight. I'm your host for the evening, Hank Philippi Ryan, the USA Today bestselling author of 16 going on 17 novels of suspense. I've also won 5 Agathas, 5 Anthonys, and the Mary Higgins Clark Award, as well as 37 Emmy Awards for television investigative reporting. My new book came out just a month ago. It is called All This Could Be Yours and was an instant USA Today bestseller. So that is very wonderful. And I thank you all for helping make that happen. I really appreciate that. And I know the back room had something to do with that. Let me introduce the authors to you right now. Lou Berney. Hey, Lou, is
Hi,
the
Tank.
USA Today bestselling author of 7 novels, including most recently Crooks. Crooks is unbelievably great. I was just talking with him about what Meg Gardner said, and she said it was one of the most unusual books she'd ever read. And by the end, she was just so moved by what Lou had written that she was in tears.
In
Good
a
tears.
good way. In a good
So,
way,
in a
honey.
good, oh, I know, in a good way.
Tears in a good way.
She probably also was thinking, wow, this is such a good book. I don't know how he wrote that. No, but all kidding aside, she was so enchanted by the book and so taken by the book. So kudos from Meg Gardner and kudos from the rest of us for your marvelous new book, Crooks. He has been awarded the Edgar, Hammett, Barry, and Anthony Awards. That must be the multifecta, and is a 3-time finalist for the LA Times Book Prize. His brand new book, as we said, is Crooks. And thank you for holding that up. Perfectly done, Lou. Welcome.
Thank you. So great to be here.
Oh, we'd love having you. Thank you. Kristen Berry, welcome, Kristen, is a
Hi, Hank. Hi, everybody.
Yay. She's a writer, communications executive, and lifelong reader living in Los Angeles. When she isn't reading or writing, Kristen can be found heavy lifting at the gym, hiking in Malibu, eating her way through Los Angeles with her husband, or shouting at the latest Formula One race. We Don't Talk About Carol is her debut novel. We love, love, love debut novels. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Was it amazing when it first came out?
It was like a dream come true. I'm still pinching myself, honestly.
That's great. Well, it's gotten so much buzz. So congratulations on that.
Thank
Kelly
you.
Mustian. Hey, Kelly. Kelly is back. She is a dear friend of the back room. She is the USA Today bestselling author of The Girls in the Stilt House and The River Knows Your Name. She is recipient of the Mississippi Library Association's 2023 Author Award for Fiction, and The Girls in the Stilt House was shortlisted for the 2022 Crooks Corner Book Prize for Best Debut Novel Set in the American South. Kelly, welcome.
Good to be here.
Where are you?
I am in a hotel room, obviously, the orange face, in Nashville. I'm at the Southern Festival of the Book. Actually just did my session and did my signing and got an Uber and just squealed into the hotel just in time to be here. So I'm kind of harried, but happy to be here.
That is the life of an author on book tour. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
what an honor to be invited to attend that convention.
You know, this is the first time I've been to several book festivals, but it's the first time I've been to the Southern Festival. There's some great authors here. Just a really good time.
Fantastic. I love those. You always meet somebody new and fabulous, and that is
Yeah,
really great.
definitely.
Our fourth author tonight is Chevy Stevens. She is the author of 8 novels, including the New York Times bestseller Still Missing, and lives on Vancouver Island, Canada, with her husband, daughter, and 2 dogs. Her new book, Hold That Baby Up, is The Hitchhikers, which came out in October, and it instantly went to number 2 on the Canadian bestseller list. That is fantastic. And Chevy's the first to tell you that number 1 is Chris. Oh my goodness, what's his last name? The astronaut.
Yeah, and he's got a Colonel Chris
Hadfield, Colonel Chris Hadfield,
Yeah.
Who is a wonderful author and an actual astronaut. So I think you're actually number 1 of the writers, right? And he's
On land.
On land. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Number 2 is fantastic on the
Thank you.
bestseller list.
Thank you.
So we are so pleased to have you all here tonight, and we will begin our program, as always, with our not quite 20 questions. As you know, we have fancy little backroom cards that have the questions on them, and I'm going to ask them to you in the order that I see you on screen. So we'll start with Chevy. Chevy, thinking of your most recent book, The Hitchhikers, did that title ever change?
Yes. It had a completely different title all the years I was working on it. And it wasn't until the end, and I emailed my editor and I said, is that the best title, do you think? And she wrote back and she said, I was wondering if it was really accurate. And we went through, lists and lists and then came up with the hitchhikers and it hadn't been done. It's usually the hitchhiker or hitchhiker. And we landed on it. And now I cannot imagine that it was ever called something else, like for so long. But yes, it didn't have this title until it was actually finished.
I love that title. I think it's a great title with the
Thank you.
plural. The plural really makes it though. Yeah.
Right?
Isn't that so interesting how that little tweak can make such a difference? Dawn is asking in the chat what we're all thinking, which is what was the original title?
Just drive.
Oh,
Not scary at all. At the time,
scary.
it was like, okay, if somebody gets in your vehicle and they're like, just drive. But now compared to the hitchhikers, I'm like, ooh,
And also that's a point of view shift, isn't it? That's really interesting. Whether
yeah.
you're inward looking or outward looking, we could talk about this for hours. Well, that's a cool question for you. I love that these are so random. So, Bernie, what was your first job?
I was a grill cook at a restaurant when I was 13. I lied about my age and told them I was 16, and they put me behind the grill, which was worked well for about 4 weeks before there was a disaster. And then I moved on to other pursuits.
Dare we ask what disaster?
No, it was just like self-inflicted harm, mostly like I had a lot of burning of me and the burgers. But for a 13-year-old, I did quite well, I like to think.
I can't believe, well, I guess they didn't know that a 13-year-old was at the grill. That's got to be super illegal.
This is back in the day. I'm an old man, so this is,
Yeah, yeah,
things were a lot cooler back then, I got to tell you.
that's true. I worked at the Dairy Queen. That was my first job. It wasn't as dangerous. In other ways, it was dangerous. Kristen, what was your favorite book as a child?
Ooh, it's tough. I mean, I think I'm like looking at I have a bunch of my childhood books over in a corner. I think Madeline is the one I read the most.
Mm.
I just daydreamed about going to a little school in my little my little rain jacket.
And she was just that was just those were such lovely books. And didn't it make you just want to be in Paris?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. They were just adorable.
Adorable. Yeah, that's a good memory. And I love that they're there in your office with you. That's very sweet. Kelly, besides going to book conventions and book festivals, what is your favorite fall activity?
Ooh, that's the hard question. My favorite fall activity. I'm a big nature person. My books are geared around nature a lot. So I walk in woods a lot. I actually pick leaves, get off the ground. But I guess my favorite activity in the fall is just to go up to the mountains, up into the Blue Ridge, my little favorite corner of the Blue Ridge, and just I have stunning pictures of the falls up there. They're absolutely gorgeous. And to just walk in the woods.
Today on my driveway, I saw this perfect red maple leaf. It was perfect. And
Yeah.
I bent to pick it up to bring it inside, and I thought, you cannot pick up every pretty leaf. Just
You
leave
can try.
it in its habitat. So, but it is gorgeous here too.
Yeah.
That's
That's
really
pretty deep, Hank. Can't pick up every pretty leaf. Like I feel like I want that on a coffee mug.
I'll send that to you. We will start with you, Chevy. What book are you recommending?
I am recommending, hopefully it's on my Kindle. So it's Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. It's one I'd seen a few times online, and then I picked it up. And you know how you have a sample of a book for a while, and then one day you just start reading it, and it's amazing. I love it because I read a lot of fantasy, and I always admire, like, we work within the real world. So it amazes me when I read fantasy when they've created a completely alternate reality. Like, rules, laws, creatures. It's not even within the normal realm of fantasy creatures. So I find that fascinating. It's also clever and funny, and she has some sentences that are just so beautiful that I keep a little list where I save beautiful sentences that, your author's written something, you're just like, wow.
So Lou,
Mhm.
tell us what book you're recommending.
I'm recommending El Dorado Drive by Megan Abbott, who is one of my favorite people and one of my favorite writers. And it's a novel, a suspense novel about suburban women who become involved in a Ponzi scheme. And it's this great, twisty, steamy, psychologically devious book that I just fell in love with. Like all of Megan's stuff, it's just incredibly fun and wicked and just entertaining in a way that like I can never get enough of her stuff. So, and it's set in Michigan, so there you have that connection as well.
I love that. I love how car oriented that book is and how much it is about power and money and expectations and false fronts. She's quite a stop. Talk about a good writer.
Yeah, and it's so much about like the masks that we wear, and the multiple masks that we wear, and peeling those layers back. And I just love that. That's what a novel does better, I think, than any other kind of art form is sort of peel back layers of reality and who people really are.
Yeah, exactly. She always does it so, so well. Um, Kristen, what book are you recommending?
Sure. I'm recommending Loved One by Aisha Muhar. And I love this cover too. It's very eye-catching. But so the book jacket actually describes this novel as an emotional mystery, which immediately hooked me. I love mysteries, but I was like, oh, an emotional mystery. That sounds fascinating. And so it basically follows a woman whose indie rocker first love turned close friend dies suddenly at age 29. And while trying to kind of unpack her complicated relationship with him and also uncover some of her friend's most prized possessions, she kind of becomes unexpectedly entangled with his most recent ex-girlfriend. And both of them have something to hide, essentially, when it comes to their relationship with Gabe, as well as their understanding of him. Vogue calls this book a fun novel about grief, and I didn't think that was possible, but it actually is. The author is also a writer for the wonderful HBO series Hacks. So if
Oh,
any of you watch that show, like that sort of, ability to capture something with heart and humor really carries through in this book as well. So yeah, I loved it. I've been recommending it to everyone I know since I finished reading it last month.
and I've never heard of this book, so thank you. I'm eager to read it now. I love hacks, and it sounds like a wonderful milieu. How did you find it?
I don't recall actually. I think actually it might have been on a podcast. That's where I learned about a lot of the books that I add to my TBR. I can't recall which one at this point.
That's great. Well, I love that. And this is why Karen and I have the back room as well. You never know when you're going to hear about a wonderful book, and we're eager to help spread the word. So happy to do it with this book as well. Kelly, what book are you recommending?
I'm recommending Clear by Karis Davies. She's an author. I think she's from Wales, but I'm not sure about that. But she lives in Scotland now. And this is a book that's about the Scottish clearances when the landowners were grabbing up all the land and they were kicking the old timers off of the land. And it's just a story about these two men who one is a pastor basically who is taking a side job and coming to kick this man off his land. So he's emotionally torn about this. And the man is shipwrecked and he lands and he finally makes it onto the island and then falls into the ocean and is unconscious. And the only person on the island, the man he's kicking off, finds him unconscious and naked on the beach and brings him into his house. He has already found his backpack with a picture of his wife, and he's fallen in love with this picture and carries it around with him everywhere. So now he's got the husband in his house, and he's sort of kind of taking care of him. And it's just rich for all kinds of things that can happen after that. But it's, again, beautifully written, literary fiction, just a gorgeous book.
Wasn't that fun? We hope you enjoyed that taste of what a backroom session is like. But more fun comes immediately afterward. That's when the audience is broken up into 4 breakout rooms, and each author in turn visits each room. We'd love to show you what a breakout session is like, because those relaxed face-to-face conversations between best-selling authors and readers are the hallmark of backroom events. But breakout sessions are never recorded, because what's said in the back room stays in the back room.